Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 24, and welcome to the IniBuilds Airbus A350. In this video, we're going to go through another no BS startup tutorial. This is assuming you do not have access to SimBrief and Navigraph. So just like every other video in the past, we will go over the full startup from cold and dark all the way to ready for taxi. So here we are at very rainy Detroit Metro Airport for this tutorial. Assuming you've already done your walk around, you've checked your all your brakes, your tires, landing gear, you checked, removed your engine covers, you took off your pitot tube covers, and the aircraft was inspected on the outside. We can now go ahead and head on into the inside. So stepping into the cockpit of the A350, you'll notice that the layout compared to the other Airbus aircraft in the simulator, such as the A320, A330, the layout looks slightly different. Do not be alarmed, as everything is pretty much the same as you would remember from the Airbus A330 and the A320 family. It's just a little more modernized. As you can see, we are all cold and dark. Nothing's alive. So what we will do is we'll come up overhead over here. 4 batteries this time, just like every other tutorial we've done. Get the batteries going. Gives you basic life, basic power. 2 external powers here, 1 and 2. Brings the rest of the aircraft alive. ADIRs, nav, just like before. While everything comes alive, APU, wait 3 seconds, click start. While that does its thing, arm your emergency lights, make sure your no smoking and seatbelts are on. The A350 also has no mobile. I always put these on auto. By default, the navs are already on. Let's just kind of go through. Everything's kind of self-testing. Fuel pumps, we're going to leave off for now. Crew supply oxygen is off for now. Come down here, you can see APU is coming to life, everything is aligning. So it shows here, less than 7 minutes, give or take, for the alignment for the BFD and MFD. ICAS is right here. So once this is all nice and ready to go, we will turn on the APU bleed. Matter of fact, we can go ahead and do that now. Alright. Now that the APU is available, you can go ahead and come over here. So this is where we'll be routing a lot of the stuff out of. This is the IniBuilds selection. We can go through here. We'll briefly go through everything here. So this is all your flights, all your stuff for flight. Obviously, you need to have Navigraph for the rest of this to work. Everything here. The load sheet, you can import from SimBrief if you have a SimBrief account. If you don't, then you'll have to manually input everything. So if we open up our default electronic flight bag, you can see what the standard zero fuel weights are. There's not really much configurations here. This is just the basic stuff to get it to work. Like you have 3 passengers, now you can have a little more than that. So typically, if you were to fly the aircraft, you would come over here and you would type, let's just put 170,000. Set zero fuel weight. And what that does is it will average out. It'll put you some passengers in, and it'll also give you some cargo as well. your fuel load, we will put 90,000. And you can see how it populates as you add in fuel. I believe the max is just a little over 110. At 110,523 kilos, that is your max fuel. So you can put in whatever fuel load you would like. So we'll just put 90,000 for this. Set fuel, you can put it as realistic if you would like, or instant. Do instant for this. Loading fuel complete. We come down here, you can see. Rest of this, again, this is for sim brief takeoff performance. So this is what you would do if you were doing a flight. Type in airport you're at, select the runway you want, let's just put to left, synchronize your wind conditions, weather conditions, and then what you'll do is you will click compute, and then it gives you V1, VR, V2, the flex, toga, and then instead of coming over here and manually inputting everything for the takeoff performance like you would in the older Airbus aircraft, you just click Sim FMS. You'll hear the trim auto adjust itself. So then we come over here to performance, confirm takeoff speeds, boom, there it is. Now, inserting the flight plan. Assuming you do not have SimBrief, you'll have to do it manually. Now, I have been told that you can put in your own, using the default here, that it should go to the FMS. I haven't seen it do it yet. Let's just do Metro Airport. Let's put in a random arrival that pops up. We'll do Denver. So now we have our little route. Like I said, you try to click to send to the avionics, nothing's going to update. So you'd have to do it manually. Now, if you have seen my A380, my fly-by-wire A380 video, you will know that with that specific aircraft, even though it's basically the same layout as what you see here, you can use your actual keyboard, and this one, unfortunately, you have to go in manually, click everything. So let's just put some random stuff in here. It's the deck, so we'll just put 30 for the hell of it. Just like that. This is a line IRS. Those were still not put in yet. This is still updating, so this will always say line until it's ready. This is available in 1 minute. So once all of this comes in, then it'll be good to go. Departure. We'll choose what's ahead of us. Choose 4 right. So we'll do 4 right. SID is Cobb 3. Transition is Zegby. Like that. Click insert. That pulls all that in there. Denver. Go to arrival. What's it have us going to? 16 right. And that is a direct ILS. None, and insert. So, now that you have that stuff in, the next thing you would have to do is you'll have to go through and you will have to manually insert all of your waypoints and your arrival procedure. With this FMS setup, it's very easy to do so. So we can see we have Zigbee, then there's your discontinuity to the ILS approach for 16 right at Denver. Well, it's real simple. Just click on Zigbee, insert next waypoint, click that. You scroll up to your next waypoint, so it'd be this waypoint right here, and then you just type it in. Click enter. It goes in. Notice how everything goes yellow. That means that it's not inserted, but that's okay, because what you're going to be doing is you're just going to be copying each waypoint like so. Just waypoint. Not going to do all of them, but just to show that that's what you'll have to do. And then, as you get closer to your approach, like you can see right here, manual vectors. So, depending on how you're flying, if you have ATC vector you in, then this is okay. If you're looking to fly direct, then you would just, when you have this waypoint into your FMS, you click on it, click next waypoint, and then you'll connect it by typing in this waypoint. And then that gets rid of the discontinuity. And then once you have your flight plan fully in, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of that, and it's just going to automatically connect. So, assuming you have your flight plan in, just click insert. Everything is green, ready to go. You see our navigation display has automatically swapped to nav. It's no longer in ARC or in plan mode. So you can see just kind of what goes on. Flight directors automatically come on. Now that you have everything for your V1 and everything punched in, usually what I will do is, depending on how ATC clears you, let's just say they clear you to 9,000, you just put it to there. Once you're up in the air, it'll automatically set the managed, which is really nice. So, before we take off, let's double check our weather. So it says our HPA is 1012. Let's confirm that over here. 1012, altimeter 2987. So if you don't like using this in the QNH, the HPA, you can put it down. So 2987. Sometimes you can see here the actual display is telling you it's 2986, while the reference, the display when you're hovering over it says 2987. That is a small bug in this. Just go based on what the aircraft says, not what it tells you as you are hovering over. Now with this aircraft, you do have to set it 3 times. 1, 2, and then down here. That. So that's 1012. That's 1012. So now everything is ready, assuming you have your passengers boarded. What you'll do if you are doing anything like that, you come over here to ground. This shows everything that's happening. See, we have GPU connected. Go ahead, disconnect your GPU if you have your APU running. Chocks, this is the only way you're able to remove the wheel chocks is through this tablet. You can see now they're gone. And then everything here, you can equip the jetway. There's a ramp truck for if you're not at an actual terminal. Luggage truck, catering truck. And you can adjust, so you can open all your doors here. Stairs, all your lights for avionic, and like the emergency slides. It's pretty cool how they have all this nice and laid out. And you can check, you can select how much cold weather accumulation you want. If you want 0, if you want all of it. So you can kind of simulate what it would be like going through the de-icing. Again, here's your landing, or your load sheet. This is sim brief, takeoff performance, landing. Now this is a little different. So what you'll do is you'll type in where you're going. runway, we'll do, was it 16 right? Right there. Syncs the weather. Now sometimes this does wig out and it won't give you correct settings. So here, you can see just kind of what your stop margin is, how much you got left, what your landing weight is expected to be, so on and so forth. This is for all your charts if you have it all set up. And then en route, this is just your map, so you can kind of see what's going on. And if you come over here to Flight Ops menu, you can kind of go through all of the specific things. So all the mission stuff, that's down here. There's your landing performance, stuff like that. Utilities, this is your ground maintenance. So this does simulate wear and tear on the aircraft. So you can see tires, brakes, you can see battery life, how much hydraulic fluid you got, how much oil the engines have used, and you can service all of this stuff. You can deploy stow the rat, slides, everything here. It's pretty cool. Now if we go back to Flight Ops, situations. So this is all stuff that you can set. Situations that kind of simulate what will go on for smoking cabin, bird strike, anything that might cause you to declare an emergency. You can enable or disable that. I always fly with it disabled. Also different failures that you can go through. Tons of different failures that you can simulate. It's pretty cool. Then there is an autosave feature that kind of saves everything, make sure nothing goes wrong, and it has an autosave of about 10 minutes. I think you can adjust everything. Panel states, so if you have the fly-by-wire A380, this is the same kind of situation, cold and dark, on ground power, on APU, and ready for takeoff. This, when you click ready for takeoff, that turns everything on, all your landing lights, and it begins engine start. And then here is all of your sim settings, so you can have everything, adjust everything according to how you want it. All your equipment, so you can see it says option managed by livery. So that kind of all messes with everything depending on how you have your livery set. So like I'm running the Delta Airlines one. If you have Lufthansa or Air France, it all slightly changes, which is pretty neat. There's your printer. So if you're flying, you're flying around, you see right here, look at that. There's a printer right there, and then that would go off and whatnot. External, you can, again, everything's all set by your livery. You can enable or disable real GPS jamming, which is a common problem, especially in the Middle East. You can adjust your throttle, so depending on your flight stick, right here. Cabin language, you can adjust your callouts, your volumes, any third-party app, like again, SimBrief, Navigraph, GSX, and then overall simulations. Alright, now we've gone over that. We know the aircraft is ready. We know that the aircraft is ready to go, so what we will do is turn off parking brake, make sure throttle levers are good. Come up overhead over here, go to enable all the fuel pumps. Then ground, push back. Sometimes it takes it a second, sometimes it instantly pushes. So we'll go to third person here. See, it's getting ready to line up. Now, what I'll do is while I wait for the pushback, Just like before, make sure strobes are auto, beacons on, logo is auto. We don't need the wing lights right now. We'll turn on our taxi lights. Pushback is complete. Standby for engine start. Parking brake on. The tug is just now backing up. So we can come down over here. Again, similar Airbus controls. Ignition start. We will start engine number 1 first. Zoom in a little, kind of watch what we got. Should draw the battery. Got N2, N3. Oil's coming up. There's your oil pressure. N1's alive. EGT's coming up. And down here, make sure we have everything set the way it's supposed to. Transponder is transponder set. Weather radar is set. So here's your TCAS. You want it TARA right there. You click that. There's all your transponder stuff. Engine 1, avail. Now we can start number 2. Same thing. Oil pressure into N3, N1's alive, EGTs are coming alive. Now if you have any messages that come up here, then you can clear it. There should be a button down here that allows you to clear it. Engine 2 avail. So now your aircraft is ready. Now that you have everything running, you can turn off APU and then get your taxi clearance. So ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for today's video, going over everything you need to know about the A350 to get it set up for takeoff. Obviously, there is more in-depth things that you can do. This is just a simple guide just to get you started, get you up in the air, and enjoying the aircraft without having to worry about any of the extra stuff. This is just for your simmers who just want to fly around and have a good time. Make sure you leave a like, comment down below which aircraft you want to see next. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you get notified whenever these videos do come live. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.